As of today, TikTok is back. And I went on TikTok. Can you believe what I'll do to win an election? And we went on TikTok, and Republicans have never won the young vote, the youth vote. They win a lot of votes, but they never won the youth vote. We won the youth vote by 36 points. So I like TikTok.
Well, we are on the eve of an authoritarian administration. This is what 21st century fascism is starting to look like. Republicans really model themselves after Orban's Hungary. And so you can look to see how Viktor Orban runs Hungary to get a taste of how they will try to govern and control media and companies in the United States. And this is kind of an entree to that. As far as what we do, you know, this is a time of experimentation. A lot of people will still use platforms, can still use platforms, but I also look towards places where you have more ownership as well and develop your audiences there. Like Blue Sky, you own your audience. It's a protocol, decentralized protocol, newsletters, email. All these journalists are like, Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Are you going to the inauguration? Let me make myself clear. I don't celebrate rapists. So no, I'm not going to the inauguration tomorrow.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about a salty AOC and Democrats due to the fact that Trump once again has taken a W, okay? And the Democrats have been handed a big fat L because Trump is now taking credit for restoring TikTok, okay? TikTok was banned for a few hours due to the fact that Joe Biden signed into law the ban that was passed by a Democrat-led Congress. And now Democrats have to take the blame, right? They took the blame. And this is important, politically speaking, because their base of supporters are Gen Z. And Gen Z, they are TikTok's main customer base. And they were not happy. They were very, very, very upset about TikTok being banned. I did a video earlier today about some of these individuals, a lot of them liberals, boohoo, whining, and crying, okay? Having an existential crisis over the fact that their livelihoods were destroyed by a Democrat-led, Joe Biden-led ban of TikTok. And now Trump is coming into office. Orange Man is coming into office. Hitler is coming into office. And Hitler has restored TikTok, okay, by seemingly trying to make a deal in the future to have the United States own at least 50% of the service, okay? That is what President Trump has put out there, which apparently is an idea that Joy Reid doesn't like.
He and the Republican Party and a bunch of silly Democrats who got suckered into going along voted in a law saying that it was too dangerous for the Chinese government to have access / some form of ownership of the algorithm, because the algorithm can be used to manipulate Americans, to manipulate you. So then TikTok suddenly takes the app down a day before the schedule for it to go dark, even though Joe Biden has said, President Biden, the current president, has said he's not going to enforce the ban, and he's still the president. But they still take it down gratuitously early. And then all of a sudden they put it back up on Sunday, on the day that it was supposed to go down. Suddenly they put it back up with this, laudatory statement about President Trump, who's not president until the next day, until tomorrow, until Monday. Donald Trump is now saying on his Truth Social thingy that he would like TikTok to be 50% owned by, drumroll, the U.S. government. And who controls the U.S. government? Donald Trump and a bunch of oligarchs, a bunch of billionaires, and Donald Trump are about to control the government as of Monday at noon. And he's saying that that government, controlled by him and a bunch of tech oligarchs, they should now control the algorithm behind TikTok, which is still manipulatable and which can still be used to manipulate you. Except it won't be a Chinese-owned company or the Chinese government that can manipulate you. It'll be the American government with the same algorithm. Think about that for a moment. And think about if that sounds like a good idea to you. to have your government in control of an algorithm that they've said in court documents is dangerous and manipulatable and can allow whoever controls that algorithm to manipulate and control the American people. And for Donald Trump, having changed nothing about the algorithm, to say, yay, now it's going to be fixed because me, Donald Trump, and my friends and my chosen oligarchs will now control the exact same algorithm.
And we're going to see if it actually happens, but they're going to have 90 days to do something. Trump is essentially extending the time period in which we can actually get some type of sale or divestment of TikTok that the president believes is fair, right? That would satisfy the law and go from there, okay, in order to save the platform. Because apparently there are a whole lot of people in this country and businesses that are dependent on the platform. And yeah, you just don't want to be that guy to say, hey, I allowed a social media platform to be banned, which is the guy that Joe Biden is, right? That's how Gen Z is going to remember Joe Biden, right? His legacy is going to be a disaster. Nobody is going to look back fondly at the Biden administration. However, Trump comes around and he saves TikTok. Yeah, that's just another nail in the coffin of Joe Biden's legacy as one of the worst presidents in American history, right? Certainly the worst president of the 21st century. And the Democrats are struggling. They're in full-blown free fall. And CNN just released a bombshell poll showing that overall, just 33% of all Americans express a favorable view of the Democrat Party. An all-time low in CNN's polling back to 1992. The GOP clocks in a tick higher with a 36% favorability rating. 4 years ago, in the immediate aftermath of January 6, 2021, attack on the Capitol, the Democrats' rating stood at 49% and the Republicans at 32%. Yeah, so basically, Democrats are in a full-blown free fall. Trump is taking W after W. Democrats are taking L after L. And this is why you have Democrats like AOC going on social media platforms like Instagram to fume and to cope and to boohoo, whine, and cry over the fact that Trump got this pretty easy W by helping to restore TikTok, because she knows there are people on TikTok, liberals included, that are going to give Trump credit for restoring the platform, which will ultimately boost his support. Take a look.
Not even in the White House yet. Not even officially president. Yet he's already restored one of the biggest social media platforms online, which represents income and employment for lots of people. Thank you, President Trump.
Well, Donald Trump done saved us again. He got TikTok back. So all y'all Trumpers, all y'all people that didn't say y'all didn't like, oh boy got that TikTok back up and running. But y'all still follow me on my Instagram. I'm so happy about this. I love some TikToker.
Now, I want you all to put all the pieces together, because what this effectively means is that every social media platform, mass social media platform in the United States has been taken over by the right wing, with the exception of Blue Sky, but Blue Sky is still very small, relatively. So when I say put the pieces together, Elon Musk took over Twitter, and there's open reporting. It's pretty obvious as well that they have manipulated the algorithms. They've artificially manipulated the algorithms to boost right-wing content on X and to amplify harassment. Then you have Meta. So you have Mark Zuckerberg, and I know we're on Instagram right now, saying that they're basically also bending the knee to Trump with their changes to fact-checking, regardless on how effective that was in the first place. It's an open signal. And now TikTok is now saying, hey, we are agreeing, we will use our push notification system for all 170 million American users to promote Donald Trump.
Yeah, so what are people like AOC and Joy Reid mad about? they're upset because they feel as if the tables have turned, okay? The social media platforms, the same ones that they cheered on when they were overwhelmingly left-wing, run by left-wing lunatics, hell-bent on trying to censor the right, they were totally fine with all of this, right? They had no issues with the Democrat Party oligarchy. They had no issues with the authoritarianism of the Democrat Party the last 4 years. They had no issues when the oligarchy overthrew Joe Biden. They had no issues with any of that stuff. Now all of a sudden they got these big problems, right? They're upset. They're afraid because, oh, wait, these platforms aren't going to censor on our behalf. Okay? Now, again, Joy Reid has expressed some concern about the U.S. government controlling the TikTok algorithm, when right now the Chinese government controls it. So in my opinion, I think it's a wash, right? I can definitely see her argument that the U.S. government controlling the algorithm is dangerous, but also the Chinese government controlling the algorithm is also dangerous. If I had to pick and choose who I would rather control the algorithm, I would rather it be the United States government than a foreign adversary, okay? But in my ideal world, I would rather it to be privately owned by a U.S. company, right? That is what I want, okay? That is in my ideal world what I would want to happen to TikTok. But hey, you can't get everything that you want. So I guess ultimately if the U.S. government owns 50% of it and they want to control some of the algorithm, I mean, I guess it's better than China. So, regardless, had Trump did nothing, the app would have been banned. And liberals are upset. Democrats are upset because Trump is getting credit, right? He's going to get a major boost in support from Gen Z for saving TikTok. So now they're boohoo, whine, and cry and pushing this conspiracy that all of the social media platforms are now right-wing. Now, none of them are right-wing, okay? Even X is not right-wing. X is centrist, okay? But all of them are still overwhelmingly left-wing. They're just not as authoritarian left-wing as they were. So therefore, liberals feel like this is unfair, right? So let's get into this.
I think the grave difference that Donald Trump has in terms of putting wind at his sails between now and 2016 is the positioning of conservatives in different elements of controlling the free flow of information in this country. And what I mean by that is, if you listen to Eric Erickson or many others, they've complained, and even my friend Scott here have complained about the Washington Post or the LA Times. They've complained about censoring on Facebook, Twitter, etc. And even if you give them the benefit of that doubt and say that's true, we can disagree or whatever, now the facts are, not only do they have a Fox News juggernaut behind them, but they also have all the Sinclair local news stations. They now have talk radio. But they have X, they have Instagram, they're about to have TikTok, they're going to control the flow of information. And so that is going to be an enormous hurdle. They have the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal is already decently conservative.
Wow, the Washington Post is now conservative. Again, you hear these clowns? They're trying to paint this narrative that, the whole media ecosystem, everybody is now pro-Trump. And that's just simply not the case. That is the furthest thing from the truth, okay? Moving towards neutrality, which they're not neutral. They're still overwhelmingly left-wing. Moving towards neutrality is basically now pro-Trump, right? According to these people.
They have whatever the guy out there at the LA Times and Scott's paper is doing. So look, they have the control of the flow of information, which is different than 2016. That's going to be intriguing in terms of the way Americans receive what's happening in DC.
So the difference between the left and the right as it relates to censorship and the free flow of information is this. We're not interested in controlling things for the purpose of pushing narratives. We're interested in the free flow of information for the purpose of defending free speech and allowing people to have full access to everything. The great complaint of conservatives over the years has been that the American people worldwide, have had restrictions put on what they were allowed to see, what they were allowed to know, and that narratives were more important than facts. And one of the reasons he won this election, Donald Trump, is because we got out of the narrative business in this country and we got into the information business. The defense of free speech, the promotion of free speech, is really the defense and the promotion of Western civilization. And it's important here and it's important around the world. So all these things you just mentioned about who controls what, it's not about control. It's about transparency and honesty and truth over narrative. And that's what we're all about.
I think that what we're going to see, I have a hard time digesting when you say truth, for example, because what we see is a bastion of anti-intellectualism and a bastion of disinformation. I mean, Jeff Bezos, for example, has stripped the Washington Post.
Disinformation.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to,
you mean like oh, the president is fit for office. You mean disinformation like that? Or are you talking about something else?
I'm interested to see the way they cover an 80-year-old president in a year and a half in terms of
How'd
Donald
they cover
Trump.
the last one?
They didn't do a good job. I think we've recognized
Good
that.
point.
So maybe we can learn from that.
Yeah. So Scott Jennings there, God bless his heart, right? It's hard to deal with ignorants like that who are living in a whole other reality, okay, when it comes to the current state of politics. These people are pretending as if, again, there is a pro-Trump media, mainstream media, and that's just simply not the case, okay? The media is still overwhelmingly anti-Trump. Some of them are realizing that being anti-Trump is not profitable anymore, so they're moving towards the middle, right? And now the left, they're screaming about this whole pro-Trump. The media, they are on Trump's side, and they're overwhelmingly biased against us, and it's like, well, no, that's not the case. That's not true. Okay. Again, they're just upset that the pendulum has swung the other way. And that's the current state of politics. It is what it is. I think a lot of this, what's happening to the Democrats, is a result of karma from supporting the most violent political movement in the history of this country. The BLM riots, the Antifa riots, the Roe v. Wade riots, the pro-Palestine riots. For supporting all of that, for putting your party and politics over the country. Yeah, this is what you get, right? This is exactly what you get. So, they're going to boo-hoo whine and cry about this. This is a narrative they're going to put out here that the media is overwhelmingly pro-Trump, even though they're not. But I think the average everyday American can see through the nonsense. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.